Okay.
Okay, so how do we speak to the spiritually oriented people who are interested in raising their consciousness, who are interested in, the concept of ascension, inscension, however you look at it. It's all about raising consciousness and helping to bring up the consciousness of all the collective on behalf of Earth. One of those ways is to actually look into citizenship and to declare yourself as an American state national on your land and soil of whatever state you are in. And so this is a very relevant, the whole concept of assembly, the whole concept of declaring yourself an organic, original organic living man or woman is really important to spirituality, because this is actually taking action on the 3D, in the physical world, in your reality, to move yourself onto the organic timeline. Now, I'm sure that anybody that's on the spiritual path, that's paid attention to anything in the last couple of years, has realized that there are two primary timelines that have split, and we are moving forward pretty much concurrently. There is the organic ascension timeline, which is called the Krystos spiral, and it is connected to source. It is the eternal life timeline. And that is all about decentralization, going back to community, rediscovering all of the things that we lost as humanity devolved into the consumption-based society that's stuck on a hamster wheel of, keeping up with their bills because we're debt slaves. But it's all about being sovereign. And one of those activities that absolutely will put you on that timeline is to declare yourself a state national. The other timeline is the artificial timeline, which we have been living on, which is all about giving away the authority to the authorities outside of yourself, the government structures that are ruling by fear. It's that lower state of consciousness that is artificial, allopathic medicine, contaminated food, refusing to see the realities that are going on, and just
All of the disclosure that is happening right now is all about how all of those systems have been corrupt for quite some time. And
right.
even though good people go into those fields because they want to do good, once you're in the system, you eventually become corrupted. And whether it's because of working in silos, not
Mhm.
knowing what's going on down the road, or down the down the hall, or upstairs, or in the basement, or four basements below, all of that is connected. And yeah, it's completely artificial. And
It is, and that is the dissension
FYI.
timeline. That is to continue to cling to those old structures. You are keeping yourself, no matter how spiritual you are keeping yourself on that timeline potentially. Declaring your sovereignty in this way, even if you just want to do the 1779 declaration, whereby I recognize that I should have declared myself a land and soil citizen, or national, on my land and soil as a living man or woman, even if it's just that single document that is witnessed by two people that have known you for 7 years. That is enough to put you to take that step. And I've told you this before, that when I did this, that gave my spiritual practice like this enormous boost, because I took action to reclaim my sovereignty
Mhm.
in this life on this earth, as in this identity, essentially. And so
Yep.
it informs all of the spiritual work that I do. I mean, that is what helped me to be so effective doing seal clearing and helping people to shed these old contracts and, be done with them. Essentially, it really did give my spiritual work and all of my helping,
Mhm.
everything that I'm doing now, that I'm earning my living moving into now,
Yeah.
really was it was declaring myself a state national was pivotal to that process.
Yeah,
You know,
it's a spiritual awakening that happens.
yeah.
Even if you had spiritual awakenings before. I mean, likewise, I had a similar experience that I had shared when I had to fire my lawyer, right?
Yep.
Going through that process of just, of feeling like my higher self, like spirit was was coming through me and saying stuff that on some level I knew to be true, but I wasn't quite solid enough with yet. That
Yeah.
just kind of came through, and being able to say, no, jurisdiction is, and I'm no longer in your jurisdiction. And then that being solidified by getting in my car, getting on the highway, and then having a golden eagle fly over me over and over and over again till I could get off the highway into a parking lot and snap photos of the eagle, because it was just, and I was calling you and like, it's so excited about, for me, that validation.
Yeah,
Um,
and the golden eagle was the original national bird, not the bald eagle. It was the golden eagle.
so this is interesting too, when you reconsider the astrology around what we have been revisiting in this last year and over the course of the next few years, the planetary alignments that are supporting where we were at that point when
We're
we
there.
were here, when similar alignments were in existence and we
Yeah.
got taken over. What is in alignment right now is not getting taken over, but truly comprehending the takeover of
Yep.
the last several hundred years.
Yep.
And if you have the stomach for it, the realization of how deep and how many rabbit holes that encounters and that involves, and truly how many thousands of years that has taken place over and over and over again, and how we are leaving that behind. There's no more. We are winning. We have won. It's all crumbling. It is
Hmm.
all crumbling. We're
Right.
witnessing it. And so, yeah, step into sovereignty and see and explore and feel into what it feels like to free yourself.
Right. And that's also giving this is what we need to do to give the signal to the universe, to the divine, that we mean business. It's so empowering. It's one step that, I mean, of all the things I've done in my life, I think that was probably the most empowering step that I ever made.
Mm.
And so I highly recommend that anybody listening to this explore that. Even with the basic intention of doing just the American State National Declaration, which puts you in both jurisdictions, but you have then the ability to reject or accept any contract.
And so, what does that mean, Kenzie, for folks who don't know where to do that? How do they do that if they want to do that? What do they do? Should they contact you? Should they contact me? Should they contact Massachusetts Assembly coordinators? Should they contact the
Any of
Federation?
the above, any of
Right,
the above. Well, I wouldn't contact the Federation just because,
right.
they're right. But I would contact for whatever state you're in. I would go to TASA, the TASA website. Um, and I think
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can, we can put that in the comments, where how to people can get to there. But if you look on TASA, you look up your state, look up the coordinator, you can send an email to the coordinator, and that will be the first step. You can also start researching. And this is the other thing that, you know, it is up to you to take responsibility to pursue the information. Yes, you can reach out to get some guidance and all of that, and people should do that. But also at the same time, I encourage people to start looking through all the information on there and doing your research. All of the forms are on there. I completed all of my forms. Yep, that too. I completed all of my forms to do the full thing, the 928s, all the declarations, and I had done that within a couple of days of learning about it before I even spoke to the coordinator. So, you
right.
know, and that was because I learned, and I made it a point to focus in and to take in that information, realizing that, wow, this all resonates with me. This is so real. And that was all it took. But
Right.
I mean, really the paperwork can be intimidating for people, and there is help out there for that. But at the very least, just do some research.
But it's easy for people to do if they do the research, and it might, you never know. As you started, it might be right up your alley, and you may find a passion that you didn't realize you had for assisting everyone in getting there as well.
Yeah,
And in creating, right? That the passion really is about creating the kind of world that we all want to live in.
yeah, very
Yeah.
true, very true. All right, so that was this is pretty much these are the topics that I really wanted to cover.
Great.
Is there anything else that you can think of?
No, I think we can stop the recording.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button, share, share, share.
Yes, yes, yes.